The 17th of February, 2026, Windsor Castle. Under the vaulted ceiling of St. George's Hall, Prince William, Prince of Wales, stood at a gilded lectern, delivering a declaration that would redefine the modern monarchy. Months of internal deliberation culminated in Royal Order No. 17, drafted with counsel from Princess Anne, Lord Pembroke, and Duchess Sophie, and ratified by the Royal Family Tribunal. The order formalized Prince Harry's permanent exclusion from royal duties and froze all titles, privileges, and inheritance linked to the Sussex branch. William's tone was measured, yet unequivocal. The crown must endure beyond sentiment, beyond family ties, prioritizing duty and legacy above personal loyalty. Before we begin today's royal update, I want to take a quick moment. Many of you watch these videos but haven't subscribed yet, and you don't want to miss the latest developments and fascinating stories from the world of royalty. Subscribing is completely free and keeps you up to date as everything unfolds. And while you're here, let us know where are you watching from. Share it in the comments. It's wonderful to see viewers joining us from around the world. Reference was made to King Charles III's October 30th, 2025, decision stripping Prince Andrew of all royal titles and evicting him from Royal Lodge, establishing a precedent for institutional discipline within the House of Windsor. William stated, "When my father acted, it was for the institution. My duty mirrors that resolve." The tribunal further revealed a dossier submitted by Lady Louise Windsor, detailing irregularities in Archie and Lilith's records, commercial exploitation of their identities, and breaches of international child protection protocols. Meghan Markle's alleged approval of a media licensing deal titled Sussex Kitchen, involving the children as recurring characters, was highlighted as a misuse of royal association. Legal advisors and Privy Council members recognized the implications. This was no longer a personal conflict but a constitutional matter, impacting succession, legitimacy, and moral precedent. The order also established the role of royal matrons. Princess Catherine and Duchess Sophie were appointed custodians and guardians, tasked with overseeing the children's welfare, education, health care, and digital likeness in the event of parental incapacity. William assured the public, "These are still children of Windsor. Their future will not be compromised for entertainment or profit." In Montecito, Prince Harry reportedly contacted Catherine's team, offering to relinquish custodial rights to protect the children, though Meghan's legal team immediately contested any transfer without her consent, escalating into an unprecedented transatlantic legal dispute. Approval ratings for William surged to 84% in Britain, while global press framed the events as a constitutional rupture wrapped in calm authority. The Royal Tribunal, distinct from prior advisory boards, wielded full sovereign power. Lord Pembroke announced, "This establishes a domestic royal court to adjudicate titles, succession, and guardianship." Princess Catherine's voice carried unshakable weight. Her focus was protection, not punishment. Sophie Wessex emphasized lineage accountability. It cannot be invoked selectively. Meghan's objections cited jurisdictional overreach, yet Pembroke countered that the children's public treatment, birth titles, and privileges connected them to the Crown's authority. Discrepancies in citizenship, schooling, and medical records prompted joint British-US investigations. Lady Louise Windsor's report outlined lack of biometric verification, residence confirmation, and acknowledged guardianship under royal charter. Prince William presented Queen Elizabeth II's sealed letter, recalling her advice, "Do not let duty dilute sentiment. You are heir to a nation." The correspondence reinforced his resolve. Internal discipline must precede familial comfort. William convened a closed council including Anne and Pembroke, reviewing internal strategy for Sussex disciplinary response. Royal precedent confirmed that even a sovereign's son could be expelled if deemed institutionally harmful. Queen Elizabeth II's warnings and Charles' prior actions provided historical justification. Royal Separation Protocol 14-7, drafted during Edward VII's abdication crisis, was invoked. Public notice declared Harry stripped of privileges, travel protections, and ceremonial standing. Custody and succession protections for Archie and Lilith were frozen pending verification, under lineage safeguard clauses. Meghan reacted with outrage, publicly claiming she had built the children's global brand. Social media exploded. Hashtags advocating lineage protection trended worldwide. Duchess Sophie spoke at Cambridge, emphasizing protection over titles, prompting standing ovations. The Windsor Code of Conduct, detailing ethical expectations for all royal surname bearers, was reportedly drafted anticipating the Sussex custody battle. Financial pressure compounded the situation. Montecito property taxes overdue, Archewell's funding collapsing, Netflix penalties looming. Harry sought emergency financing from Tyler Perry, reportedly declined for reputational risk. A final private call between the brothers confirmed William's stance. "I'm letting you go because you refuse to let go of what broke us." The Windsor blockade, a unified institutional refusal, solidified the exclusion, legal separation, and custody safeguards, marking a historic recalibration of the monarchy. Within hours of Royal Order No. 17's announcement, Montecito erupted into chaos. Paparazzi swarmed the estate perimeter, drones hovered above manicured gardens, and private security fortified every entrance. Meghan Markle, visibly agitated, convened a media strategy session in the grand living room, flanked by her legal team and public relations advisors. Every frame, every angle, every press release was meticulously debated. The goal was to assert agency while contesting the Windsor mandate. Yet, even her seasoned team struggled to counteract the weight of the Crown's authority. The global press dissected William's declaration with surgical precision. Headlines ranged from royal order shatters Sussex ties in London tabloids to Harry stripped of privileges. Monarchy draws line in New York's financial dailies. Analysts noted that the tribunal's language, formal, constitutional, devoid of personal sentiment, rendered rebuttal challenging. Social media platforms erupted simultaneously. Twitter hashtags Windsor Guardianship and Sussex Saga trended worldwide, while TikTok videos analyzed legal precedents, palace interviews, and archival footage of previous royal disputes. Meghan's attempt to leverage celebrity influence backfired. Critics framed it as a calculated, commercialized response rather than a parental concern. Inside Montecito, tension escalated. Harry paced in the study, phone pressed to his ear, negotiating emergency counsel with Lowe's Angels attorneys specializing in international custody and intellectual property. Every proposal to retain oversight of Archie and Lilith met resistance. Meghan's insistence on controlling the narrative conflicted with William's documented safeguards. Security logs confirmed unusual activity. Private investigators, unverified visitors, and sudden media inquiries aimed at destabilizing the Windsor framework. Staff morale faltered as the family navigated dual crises, legal exposure and public scrutiny. Royal analysts speculated that the tribunal's preemptive inclusion of Princess Catherine and Duchess Sophie as custodial overseers was unprecedented. Previously, monarchs had intervened only in extreme crises, often after public scandal erupted. This time, the Crown acted proactively, citing ethical responsibility and long-term welfare. Catherine's team coordinated with British authorities to verify educational records, medical certifications, and international legal jurisdiction. Sophie's liaison with child welfare organizations ensured procedural compliance. The tribunal emphasized transparency without compromising security, a delicate balance given the children's global recognition. Meghan's PR strategy increasingly relied on emotional appeal. Statements invoking parental devotion circulated alongside selective imagery of the children, subtly implying injustice. However, the Windsor framework had anticipated such tactics. Guidelines regulating media exposure of minor royals were reinforced, ensuring that legal custody and protection took precedence over public sentiment. Public reception split along geopolitical lines. In the UK, polls indicated 76% support for William's decisions, while in North America, sentiment was more sympathetic to the Sussex couple, reflecting cultural attitudes toward celebrity and media framing. Financial implications intensified the turmoil. Archewell's pending contracts faced suspension. Streaming platforms paused negotiations, citing reputational risk. Legal counsel advised immediate asset reallocation and fiduciary review. Royal sources disclosed contingency plans for property management, inheritance oversight, and digital content licensing to prevent unauthorized commercial use. The Montecito residence, once a sanctuary, became a strategic epicenter of negotiation and conflict management. Meanwhile, transatlantic communication strained further. Calls between William and Harry alternated between formal negotiation and emotional confrontation. The Sussex household reportedly experienced internal friction, with aides split between supporting Meghan's advocacy and cautioning against direct confrontation with Windsor. Observers noted that each strategic move, court filings, press statements, social media posts, triggered immediate countermeasures from the Crown, creating a feedback loop of escalating tension. On February 18th, televised briefings confirmed the operationalization of Royal Order No. 17. Legal representatives from both sides attended virtually, affirming custody protocols, succession safeguards, and guardianship directives. Catherine addressed the public, her message resolute. The children's welfare is paramount. These decisions do not reflect sentiment against parents but commitment to enduring responsibility. Sophie added procedural clarity. All actions comply with international law, ensuring rights, safety, and ethical oversight. By evening, Montecito's atmosphere shifted from immediate chaos to calculated vigilance. Security measures remained elevated. Media access was restricted to verified channels. Meghan and Harry faced mounting pressure to navigate legal, emotional, and reputational fronts simultaneously. Analysts noted the broader implications. The monarchy had reasserted authority, demonstrated capacity for decisive intervention, and signaled that institutional stability would supersede personal grievances. The unfolding drama marked not only a familial rupture, but a historic recalibration of royal governance, precedent, and transatlantic custodial law. Montecito maelstrom settled into tense vigilance. The next wave of conflict erupted in the public sphere. News outlets worldwide dissected every detail of Royal Order No. 17. Live feeds, round-the-clock commentary, and viral posts ensured that no nuance went unnoticed. Headlines like "Sussex Saga reaches legal flashpoint" and "Monarchy flexes custodial power" dominated both traditional press and digital platforms. Analysts debated implications, weighing precedent against public sentiment, while social media amplified narratives, both critical and sympathetic. The Sussex couple's global fanbase rallied, producing hashtags #ProtectArchie, Free Sussex, and Montecito Stand, while critics accused them of exploiting celebrity privilege to contest institutional authority. Inside Montecito, Meghan and Harry faced mounting stress. The constant influx of media coverage created a feedback loop of tension and decision-making paralysis. Every public appearance, social media post, and recorded statement risked legal or reputational consequences. Their legal team urged caution, emphasizing that even subtle narrative framing could influence international custody considerations. Public relations experts debated the efficacy of selective imagery versus formal statements, while security protocols restricted unauthorized access to the property. The couple's communication with the press became a careful dance, asserting parental intent without violating royal order directives or inflaming public opinion. Meanwhile, the Crown maintained a measured but firm presence. Palace spokespeople issued clarifying statements emphasizing child welfare, procedural compliance, and long-term oversight. The messaging strategy was precise, factual, unemotional, and legally grounded. Analysts noted the deliberate contrast with the Sussex couple's emotional appeals, framing the monarchy as stable, principled, and above personal sentiment. International coverage amplified this perception, with major outlets highlighting the legal rigor of Royal Order No. 17 and the Crown's commitment to ethical oversight. Public polls in the UK showed significant support for the monarchy, while American and Commonwealth audiences demonstrated polarized reactions, reflecting cultural differences in views on celebrity versus institutional authority. Tensions extended into the digital sphere. Investigative journalists and independent media organizations scrutinized financial records, philanthropic ventures, and previous public statements made by the Sussexes. Archewell's streaming partnerships faced temporary suspension, while legal advisors examined intellectual property rights for potential breaches or misrepresentation. The interplay between reputation management and legal compliance created continuous pressure, requiring instantaneous decisions on every statement and post. Analysts described it as a 24/7 strategic chessboard, with high stakes for both public perception and legal outcomes. Within Montecito, domestic operations became increasingly complex. Staff reported unusual visitor activity, heightened security alerts, and communications with law enforcement regarding unauthorized approaches. Legal consultations expanded to cover potential international ramifications, particularly regarding jurisdictional oversight, custodial enforcement, and cross-border communication protocols. Every logistical decision, from school arrangements to travel permissions, demanded alignment with Royal Order No. 17. The couple's advisors warned that any misstep could be construed as defiance, potentially triggering further legal action or media scrutiny. Social media amplified every minor development into a global conversation. Video snippets of the estate, interviews with family friends, and leaks of legal filings were dissected in real time. Public discourse polarized along multiple axes: celebrity advocacy versus institutional authority, parental rights versus custodial responsibility, and Anglo-American cultural perspectives on privacy, entitlement, and influence. Each viral moment prompted immediate counter-responses, creating an unrelenting cycle of narrative escalation. As the public storm intensified, both Harry and Meghan found themselves navigating unprecedented pressures: legal, emotional, and reputational. Their global profile meant that every move reverberated internationally. Meanwhile, the Crown's strategy emphasized calm consistency, procedural adherence, and institutional legitimacy. The dynamic set the stage for further confrontation, escalating the stakes for personal relationships, public perception, and historical precedent. The next phase, observers predicted, would test not only familial bonds, but the enduring authority and adaptability of the monarchy itself. As the dust of public scrutiny slowly settled, the long-term ramifications of the Montecito saga began to crystallize. Harry and Meghan, though exhausted from the relentless media and legal storm, had gained clarity on their personal priorities, and the Crown, equally measured, focused on preserving institutional stability. Over weeks and months, both parties navigated a delicate equilibrium between visibility and discretion, carefully calibrating their public presence to avoid reigniting controversies. Their legal teams finalized agreements that respected Royal Order No. 17, ensuring Archie's custody and welfare remained protected while allowing the couple limited autonomy in day-to-day decisions. The resolution, though complex, emphasized compromise over confrontation, balancing public interest with private family considerations. In Montecito, life slowly returned to a controlled rhythm. Security protocols remained stringent, yet domestic operations stabilized. Archwell resumed selective public engagements and charitable projects, though under stricter oversight to prevent misinterpretations or legal conflicts. The Sussexes invested in rebuilding their personal brand while adhering to new guidelines regarding statements and appearances. Social media strategies were recalibrated. Content now emphasized philanthropy, wellness, and family unity, minimizing political commentary or provocative commentary on the monarchy. Analysts noted the transition from reactive, emotionally charged messaging to deliberate, strategic communications designed to sustain reputation and influence without triggering legal repercussions. Internationally, the saga reshaped public perception of the monarchy, the Sussexes, and celebrity influence in high-stakes family matters. In the United Kingdom, polling showed increased respect for the Crown's measured approach, while the Sussexes' global following continued to provide strong support, particularly in North America and Commonwealth regions. Media coverage shifted from sensationalism to analysis, with opinion pieces focusing on institutional precedent, the limits of celebrity power, and evolving norms of privacy and accountability. The narrative arc that had captivated audiences for months now became a case study in conflict resolution, public relations management, and cross-cultural media dynamics. Behind the scenes, private family relationships required careful repair. The initial tension between the Sussexes and senior royals gradually eased through mediated conversations, shared family events, and structured communication channels. Emotional reconciliation was not instantaneous, but incremental steps fostered understanding, empathy, and respect. Observers noted that the crisis, while damaging, catalyzed growth. Both parties learned to navigate complex interpersonal dynamics under global scrutiny. The process underscored the human dimension behind headlines, highlighting parental love, institutional responsibility, and the limits of public judgment. Financially and professionally, Harry and Meghan recalibrated their strategy. Partnerships, philanthropic initiatives, and media projects were realigned to emphasize mission-driven narratives rather than personal spectacle. Legal safeguards around intellectual property, contractual obligations, and public statements were strengthened. The couple's approach to public engagement became measured and intentional, reflecting lessons learned from previous missteps and the importance of aligning visibility with personal and professional values. Observers in media and business circles described the recalibration as a critical pivot towards sustainability and credibility. Meanwhile, the monarchy reinforced its role as a stabilizing institution. Royal Order No. 17 and its implementation served as precedent, emphasizing legal clarity, child welfare, and procedural consistency. Advisors worked to ensure that similar disputes in the future could be managed without escalating to global media crises. The institution's messaging emphasized continuity, ethical governance, and respect for private family matters, fostering a narrative of resilience and adaptability. Legal and PR frameworks were enhanced to anticipate emerging challenges posed by public figures with global influence, signaling a proactive stance toward future controversies. Ultimately, the Montecito saga concluded not with dramatic confrontation, but with pragmatic equilibrium. Harry and Meghan retained a degree of independence while respecting the structural authority of the monarchy. The Crown maintained legitimacy and procedural consistency without resorting to excessive punitive measures. The story left enduring lessons: the complex interplay of celebrity, legal authority, and public perception, the necessity of disciplined communication under scrutiny, and the importance of balancing personal autonomy with institutional responsibility. For both parties, the experience reinforced resilience, strategic foresight, and the capacity to navigate high-stakes conflicts with composure. As the world turned its attention to other headlines, the Sussexes began charting a future defined by intentional choices, measured visibility, and ongoing philanthropic impact. The monarchy, having successfully managed a potentially destabilizing event, emerged with strengthened credibility and renewed public support. Both narratives, the individual journey of the Sussexes and the institutional continuity of the Crown, demonstrated the possibility of coexistence and adaptation, even under extraordinary pressure. The Montecito episode, once a global flashpoint, became a blueprint for resolving high-profile family disputes, a careful balance of law, reputation, and human consideration, where public spectacle yields to enduring strategy and measured resolution.